All right, everybody. This does not happen very often around here. Usually, when it comes to making videos on this channel, I try not to like scramble and post video after video after video on the exact same topic in the same day or even within the same couple of days because at a certain point it just kind of gets not that interesting. And I think there's a lot of wisdom behind the idea of, especially when stuff happens that doesn't matter that much, just waiting to see how things actually conclude and then talking about it. But I mean, we're talking about the quarterback of the team we're going to play this upcoming weekend. So I did discuss it earlier today, and then I discussed it again. And I guess I have to discuss it again, guys, because the Indianapolis Colts are making a very interesting play to address their quarterback need. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Yeah, Philip Rivers, man. Philip Rivers may be the quarterback the Seahawks take on this weekend. So hopefully this will be the last Colts quarterback video that I have to make until they actually make a decision, or at the very least do something that indicates very strongly what their decision is. Again, 3 videos in one day on this topic. Not my preference, but sometimes that's just how the news cycle works. So, per Ian Rappaport, so this is not made up, this is not clickbait, this is seemingly real. And Ian Rappaport in this tweet even has to specify this is real because he knows people aren't going to believe him. The Colts are planning to bring in Philip Rivers to see if he can maybe join their practice squad, to maybe see if he's in game shape, I would guess. And this is something that might actually happen. Usually when something like this happens, it always kind of stops at the workout. Like they bring in the player, they do the workout at the facility, and then they're like, "Oh, well, obviously no, this guy isn't in football shape." But there's some indication here that this is actually on the table. For one, the last time Philip Rivers played football, he actually was a Colt. So there's a little bit of a positive relationship and positive history between him and this team. And we also know, and I don't know how many people remember this, but the San Francisco 49ers 2 years ago, when they were in the, actually now 3 years ago almost, when they were in the NFC title game against Philadelphia, and they lost Brock Purdy on their first drive of the game to a major injury and then had to play that game with Josh Johnson at quarterback. Their plan, if they somehow won that game, which of course they didn't, but if they had won that game, their plan was to sign Philip Rivers for the Super Bowl. And Philip Rivers would have actually played in that Super Bowl against the Eagles with the I'm sorry, against the Chiefs with the 49ers. So what that tells me, what that kind of speaks to me is that somehow, some way, this Philip Rivers guy is staying in football shape because he's, I guess, the go-to guy for these teams that need an emergency quarterback. And it's definitely it's definitely not something that any team wants to have to do, but it's clear that when it comes to these semi recently retired great quarterbacks, Rivers seems to be the one that teams want to go after. It's not Matt Ryan, not Eli Manning, not Tom Brady, although there has been some smoke around the Tom Brady thing. I think that pretty clearly cannot happen for multiple reasons. It seems like teams gravitate towards Rivers, which I guess I guess he must be making it known that he's interested in still playing football and that he is still in game shape. So very, very unique. That's part of the reason why I wanted to make this video too. This is just so weird. This is something that people talk about as like a joke, but they know that it's not going to happen. But here we are. He is going to the facility, and if they sign him to their practice squad and their choice is Phillip Rivers or Brett Rippon, I could see them going with Phillip Rivers. I could. It's not like Brett Rippon has some great feel for that offense either, and he's super familiar with throwing to those receivers, so maybe. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of fun. Whatever you think of this, whether or not you think this is a good idea, whether or not you think this will work, it would be pretty fun to see Phillip Rivers lace it up one last time. He turned 44 today, by the way. Today is literally his 44th birthday, and he has not thrown a pass in nearly 5 years, at least not an official NFL pass. He made the playoffs with the Colts in 2020. They did go one and done, I believe. Yes, they went one and done. But Phillip Rivers actually had a pretty decent year. Led a pretty decent Colts team that really had no business being competitive after they had lost Andrew Luck to the early retirement and were kind of just wandering around through the post-Andrew Luck quarterbacks landscape. And Rivers, I mean, that's about as good as any Colts quarterback has looked since Andrew Luck until Daniel Jones this year. So, hey, it's fun. Now, do I think a 44-year-old quarterback who hasn't played football in nearly 5 years, like literally, the last game he played was January 2021. So we're coming up on January 2026 here. So you're literally talking about 4 years, 11 months. I can't imagine that he would actually be all that effective. I imagine he'd just check it down a lot, get sacked a lot, try to get the ball out of his hands as fast as humanly possible, and then just kind of get to say, hey, I played a game in the NFL. I started a game as quarterback when I was 44 years old after having been out of the league for almost 5 years. I mean, hey, that is pretty cool. But I can't imagine him being particularly effective, so it's not like I'm worried. Is this better than Riley Leonard right now or even Brett Rippon? I don't know because this kind of stuff doesn't happen very often, right? Yeah, former 8-time Pro Bowler, won Comeback Player of the Year 1 year. He's been in contention for MVP, contention for Offensive Player of the Year. Like, it's been a very, very full career for Phillip, but you just don't see stuff like this ever happen. A guy coming out of retirement after this long away from the game. So I don't have a lot to base it on, but I would say I feel pretty darn confident that if this is the way Indy goes, things are going to go well for Seattle. All right, I'm going to go and get out of here. Everyone have a good rest of your night. I wanted to talk about this. And again, it's not going to be a habit. I'm not going to make 3 videos a day about the same specific topic like this, but I don't know. It definitely caught my attention, and it's pretty funny. All right. Everybody have a good night. Go Hawks. Watch the rest of this game tonight. See you soon.